Hey guys, we're here in Amsterdam and we're checking out this new space. It's not really like officially open, but it's called Move. And we're here with the director of the space. And please introduce yourself and tell us a little about what's going on here.
So welcome at Move, and welcome here in Amsterdam, the Netherlands. So we are located here at the Ring Road, very close to the city center, and where we opened Move. And Move is the first mobility experience in the world. This is where you can see everything from simple biking, which we also do in subscription-based biking, through luxury cars. Everything that is related to mobility comes together here. And this is where we show to the public where mobility is going in the future. And that we do particularly if you look at all the cities. We see urbanization, congestion, yet we want to be more sustainable. That's what we try to show here. How do we come up with solutions to also keep the city in the future reachable, accessible, yet more sustainable? So that's what we show here at Move. So really a showcase everything about mobility in an interactive experience for young and old.
Right. And so Move, this is a space by Pan, is this correct?
Correct.
Who is the owner of Gazelle, as we are very familiar with in the States. And so basically it's kind of showcasing all the different facets of business that you guys are involved in and how you're helping people move, if you will. That's actually our tagline, is changing the way we move. And so same concept, and so I'm excited to check out some of these different spaces. And I was excited to see this product here. We haven't seen it before. I guess this may be one of the first places it's being seen publicly.
Exactly. So what you see here, like you said, Pollen is one of the largest family-owned businesses in the Netherlands. We're over 125 years old, and we have been in mobility since the start of the company. Gazelle is one of our brands, and we have many other brands, especially in biking. And what you can see here is what we just spoke about. Cities are becoming more congested, and we want to be more sustainable. One solution is electrification. So we see a lot of the cars that we distribute in the Netherlands, but also in the US, are becoming electric, and therefore more sustainable. But that does not resolve the number of cars on the road. And we see a lot of, in the city, you have first and last mile delivery solutions, and this is one of these solutions. This is an electric cargo bike where you can take the bike and just deliver all the packages that people order at your home, at your doorstep, while it takes way less space. It's easy to reach to keep the city accessible. So that's what you see here, a unique bike. There's actually a concept one coming in tomorrow, so you're just slightly early.
Okay.
But this will go in production very soon, and this is already being ordered a lot, and we're working with the Royal Dutch Post in pilot phases to see how this works, and the reactions are very good so far. So this is a super nice way of doing first and last mile delivery in cities. Yeah,
that's amazing. And so I guess we'll show some of the other products and that sort of thing, but it's interesting because Pan basically started in automobiles specifically, but it kind of, for me, it says a lot about the future in that you guys are investing more in bikes and these other sorts of vehicle and transportation systems.
Exactly. So originally we started out as the importer for the Volkswagen Group in the Netherlands, and so really car related. But we think biking, the Netherlands being a bicycle country, we already know that biking is very popular. It's healthy, it's sustainable, and it makes you very fast from A to B in cities.
Sure.
So we think biking is one of the solutions for mobility in the future, especially if you combine biking with the car, with public transportation. And you create it as a service. It's becoming very, very interesting for future mobility within cities. And that's the type of solutions that we're offering day to day to all our customers here in the Netherlands, but also overseas.
Yeah, I think one little fun fact, and maybe we'll show something in a moment related to this, but that Pan was actually helped design the Volkswagen Bus, which is kind of an iconic van in the US for...
That's such a cool story because basically, in 1947, our founder went to Wolfsburg, the headquarters for the Volkswagen Group, and at that time the Beetle was the car from Volkswagen. And he went there and he said, no, but people need something to do transportation. And he made a sketch of a van, a minivan, and that eventually was like the first sketch of the Volkswagen T1. And then the Volkswagen T1 is obviously the car that we all know,
right?
With the surf planks on top, driving around in California.
Very California,
very California. So that's really what it started with, and that's also why our relationship with Volkswagen is so strong.
Yeah. Really great. So yeah, maybe we can tour around a little bit and check out some of these. This was one of the things I'm really captivated by. But what is this exactly?
So there's a very famous art gallery in Amsterdam North. So the north of the city. It's called Studio Drift, and they make everything with these kinetic artworks that move. So we thought this was with a partnership with them. We developed this piece of art.
Yeah.
So really, it's constantly moving. It's constantly on the move. So I think this is very much in line with what we show here in the building. So we thought it was a stunning art piece.
Very futuristic and just kind of going with the vibe
but
here.
Also very clean and very subtle. So yeah, we thought it is a very cool art piece here in our entrance hall.
Awesome.
We can quickly open this. We're still trying to get our payment system up and running.
Okay. This is like a little store here.
A little mini store where you can just get some, merchandise.
Okay.
You will be able to get some clothing. You will be able to get some keychains and these type of things, just as a token, something fun to take home after your visit here.
Or if you want a really special mountain bike, maybe.
Or if you want a really special mountain bike, but if you really want to see all the bikes and all the latest in bike technology, bike design, and also electric bikes, then we have a very large bike store over 8,000 square feet.
Let's check it out.
Have a look, and you will be able to see all the latest of our products.
Yeah, I haven't even seen this stuff yet, so I'm really excited to see it for the first time and to show you guys as well. So, and you guys have a restaurant in here,
We have a restaurant too. So what we really try to do is create a total experience where you can just spend the day and learn about mobility and mobility in the future. So we have a restaurant down here, which is like a super casual restaurant where you can come for your salad, sandwich, and just sit all day. Also, a lot of people in the neighborhood are working here. So this is really the community vibe that we tried to create.
Excellent.
So it's also attached to our bike store, Ride Out. And in Ride Out, we organize a lot of clinics and bike events and so on. So then it's a perfect combination to combine with the restaurant.
Awesome.
And then on the top floor, we have a super fancy restaurant where we work together with a famous Dutch Michelin-starred chef, Joris Beidendijk. So that's upstairs. So we really try to do, as we have with mobility, from a simple city bike to a luxury car. It's all part of mobility. That's what you can see here, and also how it will develop in the future. And that's what we try to do with the entire experience, from a cup of coffee to fine dining upstairs.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah, so this is where you come in the bike store, and this is where all our brands are displaying their latest on bike technology, bike design. So we have Gazelle,
which was Pan's entry into the bike business,
Gazelle.
Actually,
Gazelle.
and as a Dutch brand and purchasing one of the oldest Dutch bike brands
so
as well.
It's Royal Dutch Gazelle. So it's one of the oldest bike companies in the Netherlands, and this is really the iconic bike. So if you look back at the pictures of the bikes, you really see the traditional grandma style bike, which you still see around in our cities like a lot.
A utility bike, right?
Exactly.
Like way ahead of their time, kind of using bikes for transportation and really thinking in that, and it really hasn't shifted so much from that even since the early days, but now it's kind of becoming cool. So we appreciate that.
Exactly. So and that's what you see here, and we show everything latest on electric bikes. So the staff here is perfectly equipped to tell you, do you need like an electric engine in the front spokes or in the rear, or is the middle engine better suited for you? Do you want an integrated battery in the frame? like this Gazelle one over here, the Ultimate CA Plus, who has integrated in the frame?
Right,
or
right.
are you going to opt for a solution where you have the battery like this one? And this is super neat with these cargo bags, but where you have the battery here on the rear.
Right. Right.
On the rear.
And do you guys actually sell bikes here, or?
No, so we think it's very important that our dealerships in the Netherlands, so all the bicycle stores, keep in contact with the customer. They are the first spokesperson. They can do all the service and maintenance, which is becoming even more important with electric bikes.
Sure.
Also, the purchase of an electric bike, it's more expensive than a normal bike, so you want to be informed properly, you want to have the right size, that it perfectly suits you. So we are really doing this in collaboration with our dealers, independent bicycle dealers.
That's great. Yeah.
What is possible here is that you order your bike. So we work with a click and collect model. You can order it here, so you can get your tips and advice here, but will be delivered to your local dealer based on your zip code. That's where you pick up your bike, so that we ensure that you have the right service and maintenance availability after your purchase.
That's great. Yeah, it's a really forward concept, and it's amazing to see, really all the brands, as you said, you guys started with Gazelle, but you have many brands in your portfolio, many brands that we're familiar with in the US as well.
Exactly.
Can you maybe talk about some of those? And
so when we looked at our, if you look at our bike portfolio, we started out with Gazelle, which is a high-end city bike, electric bike company. But in each of the segments of biking, so mountain biking, road biking, utility biking, we have a premium brand to offer to our customers.
Really like leaders in each of those segments.
Each of these segments. So for example, if you look at mountain biking, we have Santa Cruz bikes from Santa Cruz, California, which are like leading bikes in terms of mountain biking, downhill mountain biking, track riding. And
where it really all began in California,
exactly,
right?
Where it began in
Go straight to
California.
the source.
Exactly, go straight to the source. So this is a fantastic company. It's been in our portfolio now since 2015, and a really great addition, making fantastic products, working a lot with carbon rims, disc brakes, so really a leader in mountain biking. And the same we do if you look, sorry, it's over there. If you look at Cervelo, a Canada-based biking company, road racing, leader in road racing, supplier of Team Sunweb in the Tour de France with all their bikes, are really the high-performance bikes. All carbon, and if you look at this as well, all the wires integrated in the frame to optimize aerodynamics, because that's what these series are known for, the aerodynamics. So all the wires integrated, electrical shifting, and so on. So that's really a super nice brand as well, especially if you're a fan of road racing.
Yeah, really, really quite cool to see it all kind of under one umbrella. Many times you see the brands, in different places. It's a e-bike shop like ours, and we're just focusing on the e-bike brands, but just to get an idea of the breadth and where you guys are going with this thing. And I think it makes a lot of sense, and I appreciate the opportunity to see that.
Of course, and what I also think is very cool here is that we have a large demo fleet, so customers can go out and ride around with their bikes and just test it out and see, is this the product that we want, which is super important in purchasing the product.
Sure.
We also have these testing stations here, Swift stations, where we can really put you on the bike.
Their main headquarters is in Long Beach, where our shop is actually. So we are familiar with many of the team with Zwift, and so that's quite cool. But
so
really,
this is very nice. So we really try to display all the products that we have, all the fantastic brands, and show our customers this is what we do, and this is the latest on bike design and bike technology. So that comes together here.
I think you guys did a really amazing job. You should be really proud. I'm sure it's got to be. I'm sure there's been many sleepless nights of putting this all together.
Exactly. It's the first time that we're creating such a concept. Also, if you look at the building in total, it's the first time that we're doing this. It's the first mobility experience in the world, basically.
Wow.
So it was a very excited project to work on. Especially also in this iconic building that was first built in 1931.
Wow.
And then we reconstructed everything to its former glory, and now run this experience here.
Yeah, I'm not sure if we mentioned it before, but this is the Olympic building right here, right? So
this is where the Olympics were hosted of 1928 here in Amsterdam. The famous Dutch architect Jan Wils created the Olympic Stadium.
Wow.
And actually a really cool fact, there's a tower next to the Olympic Stadium where the Olympic flame is on. And basically in 1928 he came up with the idea to set the Olympic flame.
It started here.
And ever since, every Olympics, we reignite the Olympic flame. So that's a super cool area to be in.
Wow. So the spark of the Olympics is starting here. Maybe the spark of mobility is starting here as well.
Let's hope so. That would be absolutely fantastic.
I like that. I like that.
Nice.
Yeah.
And, yeah, it's a great building, and the location for us, very close to the city center, but also very close to the highway, is really why we chose this place. We are working a lot, like I mentioned, on these mobility concepts and services, and this is where we can test them here in Amsterdam, which is also a super crowded, congested city.
Right.
If solutions work here, where, for example, you park your car, you drive to Amsterdam, you park your car underneath the Olympic Stadium in the garage, and there you take one of our bikes into the city. It's more sustainable, we resolve congestion problems, so that's fantastic. That's what we all pilot here. And if it works here, we can take it everywhere.
Right. And I think that's an interesting concept, you know, because for us as a shop, we're often encouraging people to get out of their cars and use a bike. And the reality is, you know, as a company like PAN, who's involved in all the different segments of mobility, a car is not inherently a terrible solution, but it's not necessarily so ideal for the inner cities, right? But outside of cities, yeah, there's uses for it, but it's like figuring out where things work and where they don't work, learning and improving as we go along.
But I think that's exactly what it is. The car is a fantastic product, and the bike is a fantastic product, and a scooter can be a fantastic product as well.
Yeah.
You just really need to see at what time do you use what fantastic products.
Right.
We have all the products, and we try to ensure that you can use the right product at the right time to make sure that you come from A to B as fast and as sustainable as possible.
Yeah. All right. Well, speaking of the automobiles and stuff like that, I saw some of those out front. Maybe we can check out a little bit of that.
Of course. So this is our mobility experience, and sorry for the jackets just on the left-hand side, but we have an events hall here where we can have 500 people in plenary theater setup.
Wow.
And this is where we organize all types of events, but especially events related to mobility. So we work together with the municipality of Amsterdam, and we organize events, congresses to really inform people about where is mobility going, have a dialogue and talk about that. So that's what we do there. But this is our mobility experience. And as I said, this is for young and old to come in an interactive way, talk about mobility. We work with rotating themes, and we started out with Move the City. Everything related to urban mobility and really answering or looking into the question, how do we keep the cities accessible and sustainable in the future? So that's what you can see here. And what I think is a fantastic or super cool concept is this car. It's called the Wit car. Mm-hmm. In 1968, we already had a Dutch gentleman who from Amsterdam who came up with this electric car that was car sharing. You had a stamp, and you went to the station and you stamped your vehicle, and then you could drive around in the city from to another docking station to park this. This didn't work eventually because people wanted their own cars. Cities were not as busy as they are now.
Yeah.
But these are the type of initiatives that we look into nowadays.
It really started here, you know, 60 plus years ago?
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, it's...
And this is what, you know, everything in the museum or in the experience you can get into, you can try, so you can sit in here and change the gears, and then you get new content that explains you and tells you what was the idea, what was the concept, and why didn't it work?
Right.
And why are there still interesting elements to it for today?
We just need to continue to improve, iterate,
Exactly.
That's great.
So what we try to do here is what we really look into is highways for bikes. So you get highways where your bike is connected, you drive your e-bike and your e-bike is connected, so they know, traffic lights will know when you show up. So they turn to green immediately so that you can have a swifter transition through the traffic. And these really are the type of initiatives that we're working on in Amsterdam with the government to develop.
That's excellent. And we already actually have some of these kind of coming online here in the Netherlands, right? These
so
bicycle highways.
Exactly. From Schiphol, our main
airport,
Airport, sorry.
Yeah.
Our main airport, Schiphol, is quite a bit away from the city, but not that far. We are now constructing a highway for bikes towards the city center of Amsterdam, where you can go on your electric bike. Traffic lights will go to green, so there's a super fast new option to go towards the city by bike instead of train or taxi.
Wow.
This is the Volkswagen Cedric. Cedric stands for self-driving car. So here you can see what Volkswagen is developing in terms of self-driving cars and electric vehicles. And what we really ask here, or do I still need to get a driver's license? And this, we don't give you the answer to that, but we really hope that children will have a dialogue with their parents. Hey, mom, dad, do I still need a driver's license? So really creating awareness that helps a lot. Yeah,
and we're seeing that a little bit now where people, maybe they're not necessarily getting their first car. They might just get their first electric bike instead or something like that. And I was actually just talking with somebody that it seems like the secondhand market is very common for young kids for electric bikes actually, and so it's interesting how this all is evolving in this way.
Exactly what you mentioned with kids. I think we did some studies here. We see that on average people are willing to commute 7 kilometers by bike from A to B.
Yeah.
With an electric bike that becomes 14 kilometers.
Right.
If you do that with a speed pedelec, it becomes 21 kilometers that people are willing to commute up and down. So it makes it just such a great way of transporting yourself from A to B in a sustainable and healthy way.
Really expands the possibilities for sure.
So, but because this one is very static and it's super nice to look at because there's only one in the world.
Wow.
But we did try to create an experience, which we have in here, where you can really see what autonomous driving might look like in the future and experience that yourself, as well as travel through the city of the future with flying cars and so on. So that's a great experience that you should have a look at.
Yeah, we'll maybe check that out in a little bit.
Exactly, we can check it out in a bit.
Cool.
I think this is super cool to show because, as we mentioned before, our founder Ben Pon Sr. made the sketch of the first Volkswagen T1.
Yeah.
But here we have a Volkswagen T2, like the second edition of that van. And this one is from 1970. And what's super cool, at that time they already tried to electrify it. So no combustion engine, but a lead battery engine.
Yeah.
And what's interesting, that this concept, it didn't work. There was no infrastructure to charge the battery.
Right.
The car became too heavy. So it was not a solution for as a drivetrain for cars. So it didn't work. But now, much later, we have a look here and you see the Volkswagen ID Bus.
Wow.
This is a concept car. It will go into production next year, end of next year already. And this is a fully electric, new and updated version of that iconic Volkswagen Bus.
Yeah. And from my side, I kind of feel that a little bit because like what you explained, how like this idea was obviously amazing, cutting edge and everything like that, but it didn't so much work at the time, but it didn't really, you guys didn't really give up and you continue to push forward and I kind of feel like that sometimes with electric bikes where we don't necessarily have infrastructure in all the cities and everything else, but it's coming along and we just kind of keep on pushing through and then you end up with things like this. It's really amazing.
Way better than I do. I was surprised, every single time I come back to New York. 10 years ago, hardly anyone was on the bike except for a couple of people delivering mail very fast.
Yeah.
You now see that every single time you come there, the infrastructure gets better and way more people choose biking as an option to go from A to B. And that's fantastic to see. And I think that will only develop so much further in the coming coming years.
As long as we have the kind of holistic support, I think that's really important. We all need to work together on these things, right? And so now the city is working on that, and they're introducing more and more bike lanes, and then we have the products like Gazelle and many others, and as that all comes together, it just simply makes sense.
This is another type of cargo bike that you can use for last mile delivery in cities.
Wow, that's excellent.
This is a Gazelle, also electric, so a lot of electrical support to go from A to B, but a perfect solution to drive into town and do the delivery of packages, mailings, but also food.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and really expanding the possibilities, what you can do by bike and do on these different scales. So.
And so here you have steps, these type of things. Also all forms of mobility that we see. What I think this one is super cool, because this is a game, and it is partly the city of Amsterdam, but it also has components from other cities in it. But here we try to show that you can travel from A to B, and you can make lots of different choices about the type of mobility that you use. Are you going to use public transport? Are you going to take the metro, for example? Or are you going to take a bike, a taxi, or your own car? And you play a game here, and it's really made for children, like 5 foot high.
Yeah.
And you play a game against one another to go from A to B as fast as you can and as sustainable as you can. And that's how you get a score at the end.
Oh,
and
wow.
You really try to create awareness that you can make different choices. That it doesn't always have to be the car that's the fastest,
right,
nor the more sustainable, but it can be a combination of several factors. And
yeah,
that's really what we try to show here, and what we offer to our customers traveling with our mobility every day.
That's really amazing. And yeah, and like you said, just really involved in all these different facets. We have more of the electric bikes. We have the electric cars.
Is part of the solution.
Yeah.
What we have here is what you can do with car data. So this is really informative, where you can see what you can do with car data. And for example, there are boxes in all of the cars registering the data, and based on the suspension of the car, we get information about the quality of the roads.
Right.
And we can give all that quality, we can make anonymous and then share it with the government. And then the government knows exactly what roads do require maintenance and what roads are still fine.
Right.
And nowadays it's really based on, or it used to be very much based, this year we're going to do this trajectory maintenance.
Right.
This year's going to do this trajectory maintenance. And with this you can do way more targeted maintenance, which is more sustainable.
Right, figure out what the need actually is. And
where is it needed, where is it required, and based on that you do your maintenance.
Right, and I imagine eventually we can also connect bikes in a similar sort of fashion and stuff like that. And
exactly.
Also see where we need infrastructure. People are using the bikes more and more in this region. We need to create more infrastructure to support that. And
spot on. Yeah. So here we come to the luxury cars. So
wow.
Here we come to Porsche, where you can drive the experience. This is an original Formula E, so an electrical Formula car.
Wow.
Yeah, this is cool place.
Really, the full breadth of what you guys do and are involved in. It's quite amazing.
Like I said, that's really what we try to show here. From biking to luxury cars, every aspect of mobility, that's what we show and display here at Move in Amsterdam. So it's fun to see, and it's also very nice to see all the different options that are out there.
Yeah, absolutely. Great.
So this is Lamborghini and Bentley. So this is Restaurant Wils, named after the architect Jan Wils of the Olympic Stadium. And as I mentioned, he came up with the idea to set the Olympic fire during the Olympics, and now we do it every single time. So that's how the idea of Wils was actually created, because everything we do in this restaurant is cooked and grilled, roasted on open fire. So we have a very large...
Did the fire start from the Olympic flame? Or
so we have a very large barbecue, like a very large fireplace where we prepare all the dishes. So that's why the name of the restaurant is Wils, and that's how the idea came up. I think these panels you see throughout the building as well.
Yeah.
But it's super cool. So we do the climate of in this building 2 ways. So through warm and cold air, but also through these panels. These are copper wires where warm water or cold water runs through to do the climate, as well as we have acoustic mats in the panels to ensure that all the rooms have the best acoustics possible.
Yeah.
It's a very cool solution.
It's really amazing. I love all these forward-thinking ideas, and the way that you're introducing them is amazing.
Yeah.
Just to be able to be immersed in this, it's really pretty special. I'm sure you're excited for more and more people to experience it. We're just on the brink of the opening here. And,
exactly. We're opening our doors. So we started with the soft launch now, so we're open to the public, and then the real big opening will happen mid-November.
Okay.
So we're very excited to have people here and come and enjoy the mobility experience and the restaurants that we have.
Awesome. Well, hey, I really appreciate you taking the time with us and everything.
More than welcome. Thank
really,
you so
really
much.
Quite a pleasure.
Thank you very much for coming to the Netherlands.
And thank you.
Hope you have a lovely stay here and safe travels back.
Thanks so much.
Thank you
All
so
right.
much. Thank you.